Okay, guys. Today I'm going to talk about batteries, all different kinds of batteries. Regular car battery that starts the car, and deep cycle batteries, also known as house batteries, which you would use in your van to run your lights and various 12-volt applications. And then in my Ford van, I have a hybrid battery, also known as a marine battery, which acts as both a starting battery and a deep cycle battery. Um, and then I'm also going to talk about, some 3.5 volt little small batteries too, a little bit. But this is just a general overview. I'm no expert. So if you're interested and something has piqued your interest, you might want to look into it further and find out information that is applicable to your situation. Okay, so first off, I'm going to say that I bought the battery that's in my current Ford right now. I bought it last July, and so it's been in the van for 7 months. And it's a hybrid battery, marine battery, which means it's meant for boats, like trawling motors, and I don't really understand all that stuff. But what it will do is the advantage is you have one battery, and it will start your engine, and it's also able to um, be run down so that you can recharge it again and not harm the battery. With the starting battery, you can't do that. If you do that too much, you're gonna kill the battery. Also won't last that long. A deep cycle battery will last. Well, the one that's depending on the amp hours, the ones in this vehicle, I believe, in the Chevy, are 242 amp hours each, which is like 484 amp hours altogether, which is a huge difference. The uh, the marine battery in my Ford is only 100 amp hours, and I don't know if it's because it's a marine battery, but really the 100 amp hours, it doesn't really seem like that much. I have a feeling it's because it's a hybrid, and it does both things. But maybe sometimes you try to get something that will do two things at once, and it does neither one well, I should say. And I think that's the case with the marine battery. It will start the car. I've never had a problem starting my van. It's never been dead. But I've always been very cautious not to um, overextend its use. So with the battery, I have mine plugged into my what do you call that thing? Battery monitor deal. I forget what it's called. Where the solar panels are connected into, and it'll tell me how much voltage the battery has. And when if it gets down to 12.2, basically you need to charge that battery as soon as possible because you are decreasing the lifespan of the battery. So 12.6 is full, and like 12.5, 12.4 is about half full. And I don't usually let it go below 12.4. And I don't run basically anything. I have a couple LED lights and charge my phone. And even that, I mean, I should be able to easily get away with running that stuff for hours and hours and hours, but I can't. Which makes me think that the marine battery is not the ideal situation. I think switching to this van with its much better battery capacity is going to be favorable for sure. Okay, this is the battery that's in my current van, Ford E150 right here. Not a very good shot of it, I guess. Anyway, so this is what they call a hybrid battery. Or they also call it a marine battery because it's used on boats. And what this is it will start you can act as a starter battery and as a house battery. So this has, let's take a look here, one sec. So this has 100 amp hours, you can see right here, and 160 minute reserve capacity, and it's marine cranking 730, which means cold cranks, which means when you have these batteries, the hybrids, they're not as high in cranking. In fact, the what you would call it aren't that high in cranking either, the deep cycles. But it's kind of like a mix of the two. And honestly, it's not that. It's a Nautilus. It's a Motomaster Nautilus battery. It's a Group 27. With the battery, what you want to do is you want to try to buy the heaviest battery you can get. The heavier the battery, the more lead plates they have, and the more robust the battery is. But from my experience, this battery isn't very good, and I wouldn't go this route again. I would not go the hybrid route again. I would have a specific battery for starting and a specific battery for cranking. Now where I am, it's not cold enough to really worry about cranking amps. It rarely gets below like -5. But if you're in really cold weather, you definitely need as much cranking amps as your vehicle might need, which you might need to consult your vehicle's manual to find out. Okay, here we have the starting battery in my Chevy Express. Da-da-da. Daytime and it's not raining. What a miracle. Anyway, so you can see right here, it says CA875. Remember the other one said 730. So it's quite a bit more there. And again, the starting battery, its purpose is to give a huge amount of voltage for a short period of time. So it works well at doing that. I should also mention that these covers come off, and probably, depending on how much you drive your car, probably every 3 to 4 months, you should take the lid off and see how low the battery acid is. And if it's low, add distilled water. Only add distilled water. And be very, very careful. Don't use a lighter to look at that level of fluid if it's dark, because you will have an explosion. My brother actually did that, and he was okay, but he had to go to the hospital. So no lighters, whatever you do. Okay, if you remember, there is that table platform here. There's the end of it right here. That thing. I'll take that off too, but I had to take all of it apart. Well, I was going to take it apart regardless, but I needed to take it apart because I need to take this panel off, and I'm going to have to move that battery setup because I'm going to put some new flooring in, so it's going to have to be moved regardless. So what I'm going to do is I got a couple of wrenches, gloves, and some tissues. Batteries have could potentially have a lot of acid and stuff, and this does look a little bit wet on here. So I'm gonna have to mark these cables and take them off and make sure I remember where to put them by marking them, and wipe all that. See if I can get that wet stuff off. You can kind of see it's kind of wet. But getting back to the topic of batteries, see, these ones are says. See if I can show this here. It says Canadian Energy, Powering Canada, Go Green. I guess that's the brand, Canadian Energy. I'm gonna look it up on the internet and see what these are about. Let's see if I can match them to something to see how good they are. There's a label right here. If anybody knows anything about these batteries, please let me know. RCCR. I'm not sure what that means. It says 517. AH, I am 99% sure is amp hours, and it says 242. Group 6, golf cart. GC must means golf cart. Golf cart, 6 volt. The rest, I don't really know what it means. CCA doesn't have any numbers beside it. So, nothing there. So, I'm going to have to take all this apart. And, yeah, so these are the deep cycle batteries, 242 amp hours each, which means combined is like 484, which is pretty good. I'm happy with that. And it's one of the reasons I actually bought this fan. Well, it certainly was an attractive part of it, because these things would be, I'm guessing, $200 to $300 each battery up here in Canada. And I've also noticed on this box, you can tell that these, see, this is supposed to be airproof box, but it's not. It's got this very flimsy weather stripping, but this is not going to create a airtight thing. These two pieces on the side, this one and this one, actually are like squeezed in, so there's all kinds of air pockets there. And I was trying to figure out what I could do about that, and I was thinking about building a new box, but then I realized all I have to do is put this lid back on. It's right here. Put it back on, wherever it goes, and then just make sure I can reach every edge, and then just tape it shut, like with the high quality tuck tape, and that'll seal it. And then if I need to get into them, I'll just undo it and just get a razor and cut it off. That's what I'm going to do. It's easier than building a box and messing with all that. So yeah, these are, this is a vented box. It's supposed to be airtight. And there's, down there, you can see that, like sort of like a laundry hose. That's to the outside. So I got to get in there and insulate and everything, so. Anyway, that's the story about the batteries. If anybody knows anything about these batteries, please let me know. This is like the second time I've seen them. Alright guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have yourself a great night. Take care.